Someone who's a narcissist thrives on taking control of others.
I'm not old, I'm still young, right?
Like, if you're listening to sad music all the time, every single day, you are going to be sad. Hello and good morning. Today's a vlog. I'm actually running late. It's currently around 10:30 a.m. and I was meant to wake up at 8:30 a.m. I hate waking up late, especially when I have to meet someone. The thing is, I've been staying up late, binge watching like all of the Star Wars series, like every single movie, every single like sub-series. Anyway, I need to get ready. Come on.
After all this time, you're still on my mind. 'Cause baby, I didn't forget you. Oh, I didn't forget you, baby.
I've never been here before. Boy, I am here. Good morning, Johnny. How are you? How's your food? Delicious.
Anymore, I still think about you. 'Cause baby,
I am not a coffee connoisseur, but my friend Johnny is, and I'm sure he can definitely take you through it because it's also a barista. Perks of having a barista friend is that they can make you like a really good coffee every time, whenever you ask them. So if there's anyone to go to about coffee, if you need like a latte, like a good latte, hit up Johnny from Max Brenner's at QB. So how would you describe this place in like a sentence? Like, what is this place?
Convenience store disguised as a bookstore.
Let's tour around his store. Because WH Smith is like an airport thing, most of the stock is like super overpriced. So just a tip for anyone, don't shop from here.
Not
What?
much stuff comes in here.
This feels illegal. I feel like I shouldn't be here.
This is
Oh.
where I have food sometimes.
Oh, wow. This is actually so cool because I've like never been, like all the years of going by Southern Cross. Like,
We knew what was
yeah. Sometimes I forget that like my friends have their own lives and their own jobs to go to when they're not with me. I was gonna go home and take a nap, but you know what? I think like sitting out here is like a much better option. So basically I sat with Joey for lunch. He had like an hour break. We're just like updating on our lives and everything. And I think something that's just been heavy on my mind is that recently my stalker, who was previously an ex who I found myself in a relationship with like almost 6 years ago now. This person was a narcissist and I didn't know this at the time. And I know that the word narcissist gets like thrown around, especially in this day and age with like social media, like common psychology terms. It's a word that you shouldn't really use lightly. And unfortunately, I have experienced that. And this person has tried to re-enter my life after multiple attempts, including having to get a restraining order on them. It's been almost 6 years since this relationship ended. I got the restraining order back in 2020. Let me sit down so I can give you like a proper like story time on this. I'm getting distracted because there's so many like happy families out and about right now, just doing their own thing. I think like I can totally do like a longer video about this because it's kind of like a really heavy topic to talk about, and it's one of like the biggest things that's impacted my life and really took like a very heavy emotional toll on my well-being as I struggled through recovering from the abuse. Basically, the stalker, who was previously the ex, who turned into the abuser, who turned into a stalker, got arrested for breaking the restraining order that I had put on him. This individual came into my workplace and tried to make contact with me. I had to go to the police about it, and it was this whole situation, and it's taken them almost a year to finally find him. So someone who's a narcissist thrives on taking control of others and invalidating your feelings, your emotions, and they will do what they can to have that power and control over you. And it's kind of disguised through the up and down cycles that you experience with them. So the relationship that I found myself in, there were a lot of bad days, but then there'd be a lot of good days where they'd be super loving and supportive and caring and sweet. And if they made a mistake, they would apologize for it, and then being a naturally forgiving person and understanding and a very empathetic person, I was quite willing to accept that. No matter how many times I was mistreated or abused, I would find a way to reason with that and to justify the things that were happening to me. And this is the thing about narcissists, okay? So at first they seem very stellar, energetic people who are seen as leaders or take charge and control of situations. And that's what I needed in my life back then. I had been so used to being quite independent and doing things for myself that it was nice to have someone who I could rely on and to become almost codependent to. And that in itself was a mistake, because that's when, I started giving them my power. And when you come across someone like them who, oh my God, the dog is so cute. Do you see that? It's so adorable. I'm telling you, you literally can't be sad in a place like this. This is why I think this is the perfect environment to talk about this. So during this period of time, this person had an undiagnosed list of a lot of mental health issues. And it wasn't until after I left that relationship where they were admitted to a mental health psych ward multiple times. And then a conversation that I had with one of their family members led me to understanding that they did have bipolar, and they were delusional, and they were a narcissist. And having that clarity allowed me to sit with myself and realize, okay, I know now that I wasn't going crazy. I know that I was doing the best I could as a young teenage girl to manage someone else's emotions when I really should have been focusing on myself. It provided some sort of peace, but it still didn't take away the pain and suffering that I felt as a result of that relationship. I found myself in this situation for almost 2 years. Almost 2 years of consistent fighting and arguments with this person that didn't make sense to me. A lot of unusual public behavior that they would do, a lot of antisocial behavior, which involved physical alterations with other people and threatening to unalive people, and just a lot of stuff and tiny criticisms that in a normal healthy relationship would be able to be talked about. When you're dealing with someone who is unstable and needs proper help, their reality does not align with yours, and there's no way to influence that or make them see otherwise. This person that I was with believed that they were a god. They believed that the law didn't matter to them. When you end up in this relationship, you end up confusing love with attachment. When you're in it, you're so unaware, you don't know, but abuse in any way, shape or form does not equal love at all. And having a mental disorder, a mental illness, does not excuse mistreatment and disrespect, and it doesn't excuse abuse at all, like straight up. And I tell you what, none of my friends like this person. And because I would go back and forth from them, oh my gosh, puppy, would go back and forth with this individual, the friends around me just grew distant, and it got to a point where they didn't want to do anything with it, and I felt very isolated. I guess because my friends didn't really understand what was happening to me. They didn't understand why I would be so upset, but then I would go back to this person. No matter how many times I was hurt, they eventually grew tired of it. I guess compassion fatigue kicked in, and they distanced themselves from me, and then the person that I was with used that as a way to paint them as the villain in the story, and would kind of turn me against my own friends, against my best friends. And I did lose some really good friendships back then because of this. I was watching a Jay Shetty podcast where Dr. Romani, who's a psychologist, she best explained this, how when you find yourself involved with a narcissist, cognitive dissonance tends to kick in. It's where you kind of tell yourself a story to try to understand the situation you're in or try to justify the things happening to you. But there was no convincing them that they needed help. And of course, you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Dr. Romani also mentions how our brains are not wired for inconsistency. They're wired for consistency. And when we find ourselves in inconsistent situations and in inconsistent behaviors, we try our best to make sense of that situation, but it only results in us feeling tense and filled with panic and anxiety, which leads to a domino effect of mental health issues. Following the years leaving that relationship, it definitely caused that ripple effect in myself. Through understanding psychology and through educating myself about mood disorders, about narcissism, it's really helped me grasp what actually happened, and it's brought attention to the things in myself that I definitely needed to work on in order to truly love myself and value who I am. I really feel for the younger version of me. The process of healing and this journey that I have gone on in the past 5 years, I would love to talk more about on this channel. I think it's something that I can share to the world, because if my experience can help someone else recover or help someone else come to terms with what they are dealing with or what they've experienced, then that's doing some kind of good. I value my future a lot more now. I value my time with people a lot more now. I think as a result of that relationship, I've been very hesitant to allow people to be close with me. As an effect of PTSD from that relationship, my sleep has been really inconsistent. You really won't understand it unless you've been through it. If anyone out there has experienced an abusive relationship or has gone through something similar to this, then my heart and my love is with you. I guess in a way I have to remind myself, and to anyone who's watching who may have also experienced past trauma or abuse in a relationship, that it's okay to have these periods of time where you just have to give yourself a bit more grace, just to be around genuine, kind and loving people. I'm guilty of this, of forgetting that I do have a support system that I can fall onto, and even though I hate talking about myself or talking about my past struggles to people and being open about it, I forget that they want to listen to it and they want to be there. I'm cold now, so I'm gonna put my sweater back on and make my way back home. Hello, it's the next day. Today we're actually celebrating Johnny's birthday at Johnny and Joey's apartment. I have to see where Joey is because I know he was out getting balloons and decorations for the party. And oh, text message. Let's see what he says. Heading home with helium balloons. Didn't get cake because hands full. Do you want me to get the cake? So the checklist for today is Johnny's present, card, dish to bring, and then maybe I can get the cake for Joey. So I'll get my ass moving and then I'll just make my way to the boys' apartment. Not easy to walk around with. "4:25 p.m. Birthday boy here. You guys should hear Joey in the bathroom right now. He's having a shower. Okay, welcome to the cooking channel. I was feeling hungry and I haven't had lunch today, so Johnny and I went down to the IGA and I got myself a steak, and Johnny got himself some Rainbow Mountain Blend Boss coffee, which tastes like what?
Coffee.
I'm gonna ask TikTok. Eat paper towel. Salt, pepper. Oh, yay! Okay, I think I know how to do it right. I got this. I got this. You have a tummy ache? Hot enough. Butter. Have you seen Gordon Ramsay cook steak before?
I feel like
He puts a lot of butter on, like a lot.
Should we do more?
Yeah. Here we go. I don't know if I'm doing this right.
Wow.
Wow.
Gordon Ramsay's here.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Gordon Ramsay, look at my steak. Bow, bow, bow. Sit down.
I'm old.
But how old?
27 old.
27.
I think age is a beautiful thing. You grow with wisdom, and I want to age gracefully. When I'm old, I'm not old, I'm still young, right? Have a nice, live a nice life. Lots of memories and lots of knowledge that I gained.
What is your advice to your younger self?
Don't be afraid. Take more risks. Be more confident.
And what are your hopes and dreams for the next 5 years?
I would love to be a published author. Yeah, I'd love to travel more and to be rich. I'd like to own like a cute townhouse, terrace townhouse in like the inner suburbs of Melbourne.
And
Like
who's
in
gonna live
Fitzroy.
there?
Me and maybe Joseph.
Yeah, well. We both got asked to an interview and we both
I was eating. I literally had a mouthful of food. What was I meant to do?
I was having a
Lizzie was so disappointed. She's like, where are the speeches?
I'm like
Hello from my bedroom and my squeaky desk chair. I don't actually know what the solution is to stop my chair from squeaking. It's been like 24 hours since the last video. Yesterday I actually had another birthday that I went to. So I went to my beautiful friend Liv's 27th birthday. And then afterwards I also went to Nicki's concert. Not Nicki Minaj. I wish it was Nicki Minaj, but no. Nicki's an N-I-K-I. Very melancholic music, which I listened to a lot when I was like going through my worst days. The music you listen to really writes your reality. When I was going through all that really like the worst days of my life, I would be listening to sad music every single day. You want to listen to that kind of music because it's like comforting in the sense that you know that someone else out there is experiencing or has experienced the same thing as you. But also at the same time, when you listen to a certain kind of music for such a long period of time, the lyrics end up being the soundtrack of your life. If I had to tell my younger self, I would definitely tell her, girl, stop listening to your sad shit. Listening to sad music every single night when I couldn't go to sleep was not doing me any favors. I wish I realized that sooner, but this year I think like I've just completely stopped like having those binge sad tune listening sessions by myself. Mad respect to the artists who write music like that, who show that part of their lives and are able to be vulnerable in a way that makes us feel connected to them. Like, mad respect to that, but there's got to be a point where you have to stop allowing that music to determine how you feel. So when I went to Nicki's concert and I was like jamming to these bops, these very sad bops, it kind of like brought me back to that past version of myself, which I just like see as a completely different girl to who I am today. I know exactly the memory and the person that I attached that song to, but because I'm in a completely different state in my life than who I was back then, I just don't feel as connected to the music. At the same time, because I'm in a completely different phase of my life. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, if you're listening to sad music all the time, every single day, you are going to be sad. But if you switch that up and just maybe have something a bit more upbeat or lyrics that aren't so sad and depressing and have a bit more of a positive message to, then that's going to reflect in your own life and your own way of living. Yeah, it's weird seeing friends like get older with you. It goes to show that like everyone does things in their own timeline. So when I turned 25 this year, like I was so sad at getting older. Like I was like heartbreakingly like, I don't want to be 25, but it's a blessing, you know, aging is a blessing. To get old is a privilege that some people don't get to see. Mr. Hindsight said this best. He's a YouTuber I've just loved watching recently. He says that he is ageless or timeless. Something along the lines of that, where it's like age just doesn't define you and your progress. It's a beautiful, well put way of seeing it. Like, why is it that we define ourselves by a number based on how long we've been alive for, you know? It's such a simple thing, but it's like we should be excited just to live, like to be alive and to grow and to get older in age. Like, it's a thing that we take for granted. I feel like this video was like a deep one in terms of like life overall, but a good kind of reflection. Yeah. Beep, bloop.